The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Star Fire Protection District, Idaho, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 35066. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting just under the front bumper, you'll find 2 tow hooks located on the passenger and driver's side frame rail. Moving up onto the bumper extension on each side, you'll find your PA speaker and electronic siren. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find the number 53 identifier. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find dual air horns. Cut out within the bumper, you'll find mechanical siren. As we move up onto the bumper extension, onto the passenger side, you'll find your front inlet. It is the American flag eagle Pierce logo. Right next to that, you'll find a tubbed storage location for hose storage. Let's move down to the driver's side, where you'll find a swivel discharge. Right next to that discharge, you'll also find a tubbed storage location for hose storage. Let's move up onto the cab area, where you'll find on the outer edge a marker light and turn indicator. As we move inside of that location, you'll find the headlight structure housing a low and high beam headlight. Directly above that, forward-facing emergency warning lights. Above those warning lights, you'll find 2 grab handles for gaining access to the windshield area. You'll also find 3 windshield wipers across your seamless one-piece windshield. Moving out to the outer edge, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. And as we move to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 clearance lights. Directly above those clearance lights, you'll find a forward-facing brow light. As we move up onto the top of the roof of the vehicle, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located inside the light bar in the very center is your Opticom. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups of the items we just talked about first. Tub storage location and also front inlet. As we move to the driver's side, you'll find the swivel discharge and also tubbed storage location. Those will house dry deck material and also a Velcro tie down. General view here of the side of the vehicle. Let's focus in on the cab area next, and we'll start down at the front axle area, where you'll find a sight gauge along with your Goodyear tires and Alcoa rims. As we move forward to this location on the bumper extension side, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Into the step area, you'll find an air inlet. And right next to that air inlet, you'll find your Shoreline power inlet. Let's move upward from this location to the grab handles. These are easily accessible with a gloved hand and also are keyed door locks. As we move right next to those, you'll find your grab handles for gaining exit and entry into the vehicle. Moving up from the grab handle, you'll find LED indicators. This is the water tank level indicator. And as we move to the very top section, you'll find a cab side-facing scene light. Close-ups of the items we just talked about. First, Goodyear tires, Alcoa wheels. As we move now to the step area, you'll find your air inlet and also your Shoreline inlet. This is a 20 amp plug. Let's move now inside the driver's space. We'll first start with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel are all of our safety and warning information. Along with that, you'll find your latch and electric windows. As we move to the pedestal of the seat area, you'll find your auto charge status system. When you're plugged into shore power, this will become active. As we move to the left ankle of the operator, you'll find the yellow placard manufactured for your department, which houses the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, VIN number, all of the fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and fluid type. Let's move to about the left knee of the operator. We'll first start at the very top section with the silver quarter-turn master battery switch. Moving to the right, you'll find the engine transmission ABS J1939 diagnostic port. And as we move down, you'll find your ABS diagnostic switch, DPF regen, engine diagnostics,
and also regen inhibit. Let's move upward from this location. You'll find a switch location. You have future switches along with a load manager. Let's move to the opposite side of the steering column where you'll find your pump shift. There are instructions here from road to pump, and then also instructions on the opposite side from pump to road. Just as a reminder, for pump operations, you'll need two green indicators, pump engaged and OK to pump, before exiting the cab for pump operations. As we move to the dash on the left-hand side, you'll find the ignition and start switch. Just inside of that location, you'll find an EM switch, which stands for Emergency Master. It will engage and disengage all emergency lights with one button. As we move down, you'll find your headlights and also panel light, allowing you to brighten and dim lights within the preview of the operator. As we move to the right, you'll find the high idle indicator and high idle indicator switch. Moving to the left, you'll find your transmission oil, DEF level, and water temperature. Moving to the right, you'll find front and rear air, volts, and fuel level. Speedometer and tachometer located directly in the center. Diagnostic information will display in the center, above the speedometer, and below the speedometer. Let's take a general view here just to the right of the location of the operator, where you'll find the yellow diamond. This is your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. We'll go ahead and start at the very top section here with your monitor. This is for your backup camera. Located at the very top section. As we move downward from this location, you'll find the traffic advisor. That's at the rear of the apparatus. And then just to the right, you'll find windshield wiper control, push to supply for fluid onto the windshield. Let's move down from this location. We've got a switch panel having the engine brake on and off, setting for low, medium, and high, mirror heat, siren or horn selector switch. The red is a siren brake, and tire chains. Once again, pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release, the yellow diamond. Moving to the right, Allison transmission pad with a digital readout and also an informational note to pump in drive. To the right, you'll find your climate control for heat, defrost, and air conditioning. Just down from that location, you'll find your electronic siren control module. General view overhead. Let's take a look at the very top section. This is from the driver's seat. Over the operator seat, you'll find this placard indicating the height 9 feet 11 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 51,000 pounds, and length 35 feet 5 inches. To the right, we have all of our emergency warning lights, individually labeled, and also a light will illuminate when they have been depressed. Moving further to the right, you'll find your high beam flash and Opticom switch. A next set of switch panels, these are going to be all of our scene lights. We have front scene, driver's scene, passenger scene, driver floodlight, passenger flood, and rear scene. Once again, when any of the switches have been activated, the light will illuminate, indicating that it is on. Let's move to the right. This is going to be your seatbelt information center. Red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted. Green, they are in the seat and belted. Directly in the center, you'll find a red light indicating do not move your apparatus when it is on. You may have a compartment or door open. As we move to the exterior, directly behind the driver's seat, you'll find a exterior access, adjustable shelf, dry deck material. Let's move inside to the cab area affixed to the door panel. All of our safety and warning information. Also electric window control. As we move in the cab area, this is over the driver and passenger area rear section, additional storage. As we move to the center, you have two storage locations. This is for exterior access only. You do have USB and barrel style access. Located in the center, you'll find your lift to turn latch, which will gain access to the rear section of the apparatus engine for oil and transmission daily checks. Just a quick look to the very rear, there are two seats located on the rear section and headsets above. As we move underneath, you'll find storage location. Lift and turn latch will gain you access into these two spaces. As we move to the exterior, you'll find long tool-handled storage just below the shelf. And let's go ahead and move now to the rear cab wall, where you'll find lights and also drop-down steps. General view here on the side sheet, you'll find additional steps fold down for gaining access into the hose bed area. In the walkway or pass-through area, you'll find storage locations. Underneath this location, you'll also find the left side main inlet air bleed and also foam pump discharge drain. including the foam pump intake drain. Once again, this is on the left side of the pumper. Let's move now to the very top section of the pump panel area. First, starting on the left, this is going to be the front inlet bleed. As we move to the right, you have an electronic front inlet valve and also a primer, air prime. There are instructions on that primer that for best practices at least 1,000 RPMs. As we move to the right, you'll find the red module, which is your Husky foam system. This is a Husky foam system 3. It also has instructions for operation and also a foam level indicator. Moving just to the right into the gray module area, you'll find the master intake gauge. You'll also find just to the right of that location the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They are currently plugged and are for testing purposes. As we move to the right in the gray module, you'll find your master discharge. Moving further to the right, you'll find your engine cooler. This is a twist, not a pull. And then your main fire pump primer. It's a push to prime air. You'll also find that same informational note, at least 1,000 RPMs for best practices. As we move to the engine information gray module, around the outer edges, you're going to find your volts, fuel, water, and oil pressure. In the very center, you'll find a tachometer. There are also tally lights within this area. As for example, on the left-hand side, you'll find a stop engine. This would be a red light indicating to stop the engine. Moving to the right, you'll have a yellow check engine. And as we move down to the very bottom, you'll find a yellow check transmission. Let's move to the right. We do have some switches here. The one I'd like to point out is the green indicator, which is the OK to pump. If you've engaged your transmission in the pump process at the very front of the cab, this light will be illuminating. To the right, you'll find the number 1 left side main inlet, once again, electronic valve. You'll also find your minimum operation maintenance schedule. These are for the test pressures of 150, 200, and 250 psi. On the left-hand side, you'll find the associated GPM, and on the right, you'll find the associated RPM. These are at test pressure, also 5-digit job number in the upper left-hand corner. You'll also find the red placard, which is your Watrous placard, indicating at least 1,500 GPM capacity pump, and also transmission and also model information. As we move down now, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. We do have some placards here regarding the Husky foam system specifications, and then also a warning here that only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment and only after they've received proper training. To the right, you'll find your pressure throttle governor. Moving just down slightly from that location, you'll find a speaker, which is your audible alarm for that pressure throttle governor. You'll also find an LED indicator for your water tank level indicator. Let's move just to the right in the same pump panel vicinity. You're going to find your tank to pump, and then right next to that, you'll find your tank fill and recirculating line. Just to the right, you'll find all of, again, color-coded and labeled discharge drains. They also have indicators if they are foam capable by a red line. Moving just to the left, you'll find a fall hazard. Do not ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. Let's go ahead and move to the driver's side pump panel area. We'll start in the upper left-hand corner in this image with a few warning placards. First, starting at the very top, warning, fall hazard, always face the vehicle when climbing onto the apparatus. We'll also move down to an additional warning placard regarding entanglement hazard. Hoses coming from aloft, there's the possibility of entanglement. There is an access panel for gaining access behind the pump panel. Lift and turn will gain you access into that. Large diameter pump inlet, it is the Pierce American Flag Eagle logo. As we move down, you'll find the manual pump shift, and then just beneath that, you'll find your master pump drain. As we move to the right, you'll find the number 1 left side auxiliary inlet. This is a 2.5-inch ball valve, female. As we move down across the very bottom, you'll find all of the color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's move further to the right. Once again, at the very top section, just a reference point, large diameter pump inlet. As we move down, you'll find the Watrous placard that I previously mentioned, 1,000 GPM pump. And as we move to the very bottom section, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. To the right, you'll find a warning label, foam failure. Do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. As we move down, you'll find the draft lever and also fill location. And then just to the right, behind the lift and turn latch, there is instructions on the back of the door and also your foam fill operations. Let's go ahead and move into the compartments now. We'll first start in the upper left-hand corner. This is the air compressor for maintaining air pressure within your tanks. When plugged into shore power, this will become active. Also, when plugged into shore power, your battery charger will become active and also maintain batteries. Let's move downward from this location. This is going to be the center compartment over the axle, where you'll find a D handle will gain you access to the rear section of the tool board. You also have 3 SCBA bottle storage locations with retaining straps and also a mid-location emergency warning light. As we move to the fuel door, you'll find the silver cap, which is your ultra low sulfur diesel. As we move the flap into the downward position, this will expose the fill location for your DEF, which is going to be a 4.5 US gallon. It is a blue cap. Let's go back up, take a look with the compartment in the open position and also the tool board fully open. This will lock, allowing you to maintain that in its open position. As we move to the rear compartment in the upper portion, when plugged into shore power, this will become active. These are the 2 plugs located within this compartment in the upper portion of that compartment. As we move down, you do have a pull-out tray. The release mechanism and lock is on the right-hand side. Let's move to the rear of the apparatus. There are 4 steps that fold down for gaining access for going aloft into the hose bed area. You'll also find a combination emergency light, brake, turn, and reverse light. At the very top section, you'll find emergency warning lights, and then also a 360-degree emergency warning light and also a traffic advisor. Let's take a look at some close-ups. Rear scene lights, hose bed lights. As we move upward, you'll find a step. Number 1 rear discharge. This is a 2.5-inch discharge. Moving just to the right, you'll find a few warning labels. Always face the vehicle when climbing on it, and then also pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move to the center roll-up compartment door, you'll find a full extend bottom section and then also a pull-out tray in the upper portion. Let's move around now to the passenger side rear compartments. In the upper corner, you'll find an additional access plug. This is when plugged into shore power. Also long backboard storage. And as we move down to the very bottom, you'll find 2 trays, an upper portion and also a pull-out tray on the lower section. Let's take a look at some close-ups at the very top. Outlets and also backboard storage location. Let's take a look at the trays, and they're fully extended. They will lock into position. And let's move now over the rear axle, where you'll find a pan door gains access. This is the hydraulic reservoir for your ladder rack. As we move to the right, you'll find SCBA bottle storage for 3 SCBA bottles with retaining straps. There is information on the side of the door for accessing information about the type of oil that is in the reservoir. Let's move forward to this location, where you'll find an additional outlet at the very top section and then also a pull-out tray at the bottom section. As we move just underneath the truck side vehicle here, I would like to point out this label regarding extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures exist, especially during regen operations. Please be cautious where you park your vehicle and be aware of those extreme temperatures. As we move further to the right, you'll find the reel rewind and then also the front inlet bleeder valve. Let's move up onto the pump panel. Left side of the image here, you'll find this lift and turn latch will gain you access behind the pump panel. Located behind this area is going to be your intake relief valve. And then we'll move just to the right. I'd like to first start with this warning label, pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Also downward, we have 2 2.5-inch discharges on this side of the pump panel. And as we move to the right, you'll find your powered equipment rack. There are instructions on the placard in addition with some danger information. As we move downward from this location, you'll find your cab lift. This is instructions on the right-hand side of the placard. We also have some caution and also danger information on this placard. Let's go back up to the very top here, where you'll find a warning label regarding entanglement hazard. This is for the lines that are coming from above. There is the possibility of entanglement, and that's why we have this warning label here. As we move to the right, the Pierce logo American flag eagle. This is going to be your large diameter pump inlet. And then as we move just to the right, you'll also find your large diameter discharge. Also, all of our discharge drains down in the lower portion. A lower portion access door also gains access behind the pump panel. And as we move to the cross lays, you'll find at the very top section, there is a orange grab handle which allows you to release the netting, gaining access to the 2 loads in the speed lay area. Let's go ahead and move now to the passenger side cab area. First, we'll start at the very rear and work our way forward. Same configuration as we have on the driver's side. Long-handled tool storage, dry deck material on the lower portion. Let's go ahead and move inside the cab area. This is the rear section on the passenger side. First, affixed to the door panel, you'll find all of our safety and warning information, electric windows, grab handle, and door locks. As we move overhead, you'll find push on and off white or red lenses, and also your stereo system speakers. As we move just forward of this location, you'll find exterior access in this area, dry deck material, and also 12-volt access. We'll go ahead and move now into the passenger side or officer space. Affixed to the door panel, all of our safety and warning information. I'd also like to point out your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag, and we do have a warning placard here indicating not to mount anything within this area. On the A-pillar, find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid, and at the floorboard you'll find a foot pedal which will control the mechanical siren. Moving just to the left, you're going to find 12-volt access and also your siren brake. As we move overhead of the officer position, you're going to find your push on and off white or red lenses and also intercom system. As we look overhead, you'll also find your stereo, AM/FM, Bluetooth, Sirius XM. Let's go ahead and now take a look at the apparatus with the compartment doors in the open position. This is from the driver's side, and now we'll go ahead and take a look at the passenger side. We'll go ahead and look at the ladder rack in the down position. We have a 24-foot extension and a 14-foot roof. You'll also find a 10-foot attic and also storage locations for your drafting tubes. Located on the inside of the ladder rack, you'll find long-handled tool storage. Let's go ahead and move up to the upper portion where the hose bed is located. You'll find 3 hose bed dividers. As we move to the dunnage area, you'll find your water tank top fill, which is the blue tank, and then the green tank is going to be your foam tank. We do have a warning label here on the foam tank. Do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. This is a 20-gallon tank. Moving now into the forward section of the dunnage, you'll find your Husky 3 foam system hydraulic reservoir. And then you'll also find your master stream device, and then to the right your booster line or red line. In that area you'll also find a tension spool and also a manual rewind. Let's go ahead and take a look at the forward section of the cab area. This area is a non-walking surface, therefore we have these 2 warning stickers indicating that it is not a walking surface. Let's go ahead and move back to the dunnage area to the booster line where you'll find the free spool tension knob located on the right, and on the very top section you'll find the location where you would insert the manual rewind tool. Now to the officer's door, just beneath that is where you're going to find the front inlet drain. This is going to be located just underneath the step area. This is for your front inlet. And since we're under the bottom of the truck, let's go ahead and look to the rear axles where you'll find your tire chains. Congratulations, Star Fire Protection District, Idaho, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 35066-01. If you have any questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.